good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are joining in from today. I am so excited and so honored to be spending time with you. And if someone could just do me a huge favor and let me know, one, can you hear my sound? I want to make sure that we have good sound early, so I'm not talking for like 5 minutes and then I find out. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be spending time with everyone tonight talking about how to unleash your sales superpowers. And here's one thing I will ask as we get into it. And I'm so excited for tonight too, because this is so much of it is new content, things I've never taught before. And it's going to be really powerful for you if you let it. So wherever you're at, whatever you're in the middle of right now, I just ask that you play full out and do it for you. Don't do it for me. Do it for you. Be present, turn off your phone, turn off your notifications. We're going to have time at the end for live coaching. And I'm also going to be asking you questions in the chat. I really want to honor those of you who are here live. And just make sure you get the coaching you need tonight to unleash your superpowers. And so do it for yourself, be fully present and play full out. And we're going to have an incredible time together tonight. So if you don't know me yet, my name is Elyse Archer. I am a sales and business mentor for female entrepreneurs and sales professionals who want to make a financial quantum leap. Not talking about 5% gains here, 10% gains here, but they want 10x, 20x. And just let me know too in the chat, like, is that you? Are you a woman who is done with playing small and is ready for a true quantum leap in your life? That is who I exist to serve. But beyond that, the women who I love serving, and there's so many of them in this community, and I know they're here tonight too, is women who are ready for the up level in all areas of their lives. So financially and health-wise, personal relationships, impact-wise, spiritual connection, family life. And I exist to serve that woman who is unapologetic about wanting it all, who is done playing small and minimizing who she is and what she desires. And for those of you who have personal brands, I'm just checking in the comments. Michelle is saying yes to the holistic up level. Yes, 100%. You get this, like so many of us, what we do, it's inspired by who we once were. And my mission is no different than that. And I'll just share a little bit of personal backstory before we get into the content and the teaching for tonight. So I was a woman who really sought validation outside of herself for most of her life. And I always thought, gosh, if I could just earn a certain amount and look a certain way, then I would feel worthy. That's really what it was. I thought then I would feel worthy, then I'd feel comfortable and secure in myself. Then I would love myself. And so I spent years, like literally decades, striving for more money and more recognition in the corporate world. And I went into media sales in my early 20s. And this is a very embarrassing side note, but my first corporate job was selling yellow pages. And I'm guessing, because I know many of you who are here with me, some of you were like, Elyse, what is yellow pages? It's they're a dinosaur. You don't even need to know what they are at this point. If you are familiar, that was my first corporate sales job. But then from there, I progressed into global media sales, and I did really well financially. And by my mid 20s, I found myself making a very healthy 6-figure corporate income, at the top of the leaderboard in our office, driving a luxury car, owning multiple homes. But although on the outside, it looked like I really had it all together, what nobody knew and what I wasn't telling anybody was that inwardly, I was really struggling with a lot of like intense stuff. I was struggling with an eating disorder, a lot of hatred of my body, disconnection from my body, judgment of it, feeling uncomfortable with how to show up as a woman, in what was a very male-dominated environment of my workplace. I was being sexually harassed at work. I was in a toxic marriage filled with a lot of abuse. And so again, even though financially I was doing well, And it's kind of like take all of that and add on to it that financially I was doing well, but my heart was yearning for more beyond that. And, six figures isn't what it used to be. Even if you're making that now, you're like, it's good, but I know there's a whole nother level. But for me, it was like, no matter how hard I worked and no matter how many extra hours I put in, and I mean, literally, like I would get up at 2 a.m. And my friends and my clients who know me now, I'm an early riser, but that's for me, that's like 4 a.m. Like I was literally up at 2 a.m., like getting 4 hours of sleep, grinding all day long just to try to keep up with this appearance that I thought I had to have in order to be happy and successful. And regardless of what I did, though, I kept staying stuck at the same level for about 10 years. And I was miserable. Like, I'm just going to call it like it was. I was miserable. I was having panic attacks, thinking about how I was going to get myself out of so many situations I'd gotten myself into in my life. And I don't know if you can relate to this. I'd love to hear in the chat if you can. But one day I just reached this level of pain where I knew that making a lot of what felt like very scary changes was less scary than staying where I was. And so I went on this journey. I just made the decision one day, and that's kind of how it happens for any of us who untangle from situations, mindsets, ways of being that are no longer in service to us. It's just a decision. And I did it one day, and I went on this journey of unraveling the life that I had built up until that point, and faced a lot of fears, and got a coach and help for the eating disorder. I left the job where I was making good money, but was, being sexually harassed. And I started my own sales coaching business with one client. I don't always recommend this, ladies, but this is what I did. One client who paid me $300. And I was like, this is proof of concept. I've got a business idea. I left the marriage. That felt very scary. And I was really afraid of a lot of judgment of doing that in my mid-20s. But I decided to recreate myself and my life. And I started really working on myself from the inside out, and investing at this point in my life, it's literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaches that I've never had the money just sitting around to do it. But working with mentors who showed me a different way of doing business and sales as a woman. And it was radically different from what I thought I had to do and I had to be successful. And here's what I want to know in the chat too, is this what you think, or is this what you've been taught you have to do in order to be successful? Because I've been taught if I wanted to make more money and make more sales, I just needed to work harder, right? It was like, at least you got to roll up your sleeves and you just got to put in more hours. How many of you have heard that? Or I thought maybe I just had to, Kim saying, yep, yeah. I thought I just had to become a better closer. And maybe if I could just get more comfortable with doing the hard closing techniques that were taught in all the sales training I'd been a part of, that was what was missing. And there's just something wrong with me that I didn't want to do that. There's stuff taught like do anything to get the deal, grind and hustle, or joy and, hashtag team no sleep. Let me just see. Yeah. So Michelle's saying all the time. Melissa, it's just always seemed to be the only way. Sherry, I was raised with this attitude. Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, me too. And here's what I found was when I started working with these mentors who were far more successful than I was at the time, multi seven-figure entrepreneurs who actually had a life. They weren't just grinding all day. They actually had a life. They were taking luxury vacations and flying first class and contributing at a high level. And they actually had time for a massage and self-care. Was that there was a whole different way that wasn't being taught. And the way that was being taught created exponential results. And as I started just opening up to the fact that maybe there was a different way, and started implementing these strategies and doing a lot of the deep inner work, the healing work that they helped me do, everything shifted. And in literally 6 weeks, I went from $100,000 years to $100,000 months. And I'm here to tell you right now, it wasn't by working harder. It was not by working harder. And so if you think right now that that's what it's going to take for you to make your next leap, it's not that you can't do it that way, but it's that it's not the most powerful way to do it. And that's what I want to talk with you about tonight, is how to make your next leap, how to bridge that gap between where you are and where you want to be, what your vision is for where you want to be financially, impact wise, life wise, like by this time next year, or not even this year, like next year, like in the next 6 months, like how do you bridge that and get and close that gap much faster without working harder? Okay. And if it sounds too good to be true, I promise it's not. I'm a living testament to it. I know many of the women on this call are as well. And if it sounds, like I said, if it sounds too good to be true to you right now, like just stay open-minded is all I would ask tonight. And here's one of the biggest and most important things I've learned that I want you to like really, I didn't ask you at this beginning, but I would ask you take notes during this tonight. And we're going to do an exercise shortly where you're going to have a piece of paper. But one big thing I've learned is this: no one is going to come give you permission to have the life you want, to make the money you want. No one, literally no one. If you're waiting for permission, even subconsciously, you are giving your power away, my friend. So how do you know if you're giving your power away? Well, I would check in and say, do you have thoughts like, I'll do this next year? Or, well, I guess this is just how it is for me. Like I'd kind of given up. I don't know about you, but for me, I was at a certain point in my life where I'd kind of given up and I'd said, well, it's just what it is. Like, I just need to be content with where I'm at because I've got a good life compared to what a lot of people have. And I should be happy with what I have. And so I didn't stop. Like, I just kind of stopped stretching and going for more for a while, or looking at other women and the lives they were leading and the way they had experiences with their families and saying like, well, that car, that house, that luxury trip, that charity, that's for her, but not for me. I can, check in and say like, do you ever notice yourself saying, oh, I could never do something like that? Like, even as I've been talking tonight and I've talked about some of my own journey, have you had a voice in your head show up and say like, that's too good to be true. That's impossible. That right there is an indication that you're giving your power away. And we notice that with no judgment. This is so important with all of it. There's no judgment on it, because what we're going to talk about tonight is there's so much conditioning to get you to do that, society, through our upbringing. So there's no judgment on it. But tonight is really about bringing awareness to what's actually creating that gap for you so that you can close it. And another thing to check on too, in terms of if you're giving your power away, do you say no to things that you really want to say yes to? Like, really check in on that. And that could be whether, it's opportunities, whether it's the wardrobe you want to have, causes that you want to donate to. And if so, you're giving your power away to someone else, to tell you that it's finally time to do it, or to give you permission to be great and live out the life that you want. And so here's what I found with the women in this community. And here's what I so love. Like, this community is my heart and soul. Aside from my family, from my husband and my son, like this community, you're like family to me. And with the women in the She Sells community, and I want to know in the chat if this is you. Usually it's not about like being too little or not enough, although that's usually the story that we tell ourselves. Is like, well, I'm not good enough for that, or I'm not worthy for that. But it's about, we give our power away because at some point we were told we were too much. So let me know if you can relate to that. At some point, were you told you're too loud, too opinionated? This one is big. Were you told that you want too much? Were you ever told by parents growing up, like, you should be satisfied with what you have, or you should pinch pennies, or you should save more, or like you're being unrealistic. Like, that's not a real job. You'll never make money doing that. Kim is saying a know-it-all, don't speak out. Melissa's saying, yes, too extra, too picky, unrealistic. And that's the real problem. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that's the real problem. And we morph it a lot of times into a story that we're not enough, but it's really that you were told at some point you were too much. And so you started dimming your light because you wanted to make other people comfortable around you. Okay. And this happens even subliminally. It happens subliminally. Like this stuff, this is why I'm so laser with my clients. And like, I want to hear what they say and work with them on their belief systems and patterns, because so much of this stuff is under the surface that we're not even aware that it's going on. If you felt at some point in your life like you outshone a sibling, I've worked with clients where they were maybe in dance class with a sister and they were the more talented one, but their sister got upset that they didn't get chosen for something. And so they started like downplaying and minimizing how good they were. Whatever your version of that is, maybe you felt like you were outshining your friends, or even, a parent, right? This is why 95% of people don't earn their parents. And it's like, we have to really look at what's going on here, and look at where this comes from. Let me see, Michelle saying, I was told I was intimidating. Melissa, yes, intimidating. And so here is, I want to share my screen here for a little bit of this, this teaching tonight. And I want you, if you're taking notes, I want you to really start like writing this down here. Let me go into screen share here as well, because this is so important for you. Okay, here we go. Is this, that your level of income will never exceed your level of self-worth. It will never, ever exceed your level of self-worth. And so this is the work. Like, this is the work. If we're like, I want to make more money and I want to close the gap and I want to, have my dream life and have what I want, it is up-leveling your level of self-worth. And so this is what I found too in my own life. And can you see my screen okay? I'm toggling between a couple different slides. So hopefully you can see my screen, you can see my presentation. Let me know in the chat, please. But I found this in my own life. Okay, thank you, Melissa. Like, as I've expanded my role and become more responsible for things, this is something I have to work on all the time. And this is my little family here. And my husband would kill me if he knew this was the picture I chose of him. This was a recent, a Halloween picture. I was like searching for a recent pic, and this was the first one that showed up on my camera roll of all three of us. So here you go. But I'm remarried now to my soulmate. I'm a mom of a 15-month-old boy. I'm the financial provider for our family. As my husband, studies for medical school, I'm leading our company and in charge of growing it and directing the vision. And I have to find ways, and I'm sure you can relate to this, but I've got to find ways to bend time and space and create those financial quantum leaps without grinding harder, without working more hours. And that's one of the biggest things. Oh, Victoria, you're saying you don't see a picture. Is this sharing? Hopefully it's, you see my desktop. Okay, hold on. Let me try again. Thank you for letting me know. This was with my notes. Oh, well, that's not what we want. Can you see that okay? Is that okay? Hopefully you can see that okay. Anyway, oh, thank you. Okay, good. Thank you. So this is this is what I live for right now, is like, I'm focused on consistently reducing my time, reducing the amount of time that I'm spending creating financial abundance for our family so I can be with the family. And so this is so much of what I'm going to be teaching you tonight about, unleashing your superpowers. And so my mission and our mission here at She Sells is to help you, to help the women who we are privileged to serve across the world step into their power so they can earn more, which allows them to be more, have more, and do more as well. So that's whatever your version of your own family and your own why is, this is mine. And this is what I'm committed to helping you shift in your life too. And so for tonight, my goal is to help you really understand what's held you back from making the sales and income you desire so you can unlock your potential and quickly and easily start making that money that you deserve. And so let's talk a little bit about who this is for, because we've got this really dynamic community here in the She Sells community. And so tonight, this is really for you. One, if you're in sales, which I know some of you are working for another company. Two, if you're either an entrepreneur, or sometimes we hear the term wantrepreneur, right? So you're an entrepreneur, or you've got your side hustle going, and you've got a vision for a business you want to create. Or three, you're a woman ready to step into your full power. Basically, you're ready to make a quantum leap financially. And maybe you've been stuck at the same level like I was for a long time, and you're done with it. And I'd love to know in the chat, like, if that's you, or maybe you're just hair on fire, serious about achieving your goals going into the end of this year and next year too. And so either way, if you fit into any of those three categories, those three buckets, this is for you. Now, what I will say, this is not for you if, number one, you don't want to grow. And I don't think that's any of you who are here tonight, because I know many of you personally. But if you don't want to grow, if you're more committed to your limitations and old stories of your past, instead of possibilities and promise of your future, or if you're, and again, I don't think this is any of you, but this is not going to resonate if you're a pessimist or if you're closed-minded. The She Sells community and the women who we're privileged to have in this community is filled with incredible women who are taking full ownership of their lives and their results, who know that they create their reality and are ready to really drop anything, like literally anything that no longer serves them. And that can look like excuses, that can look like old stories, that can look like old patterns, in order to really step into their greatness for themselves and their family. And here's something I just want to reassure you of too tonight is, if you hear my story, or you'll hear stories tonight of some of the women in our community, and it's easy, like our brain will tell us, oh, that's for somebody else, but not for me. Here's the thing. Making a quantum leap in sales is not limited to certain types of people. It's not just for entrepreneurs. It's not just for people who've been at it for a long time. So you're not too old. You're not too young. You're not too anything. This is truly what we're talking about tonight. It's something that you can do. Like, I'm talking to you. You can do it. And it just requires a decision and a commitment. That's it. And we have women across this community who are making quantum leaps in all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of, jobs. And I can tell you right now, like, none of them just had it easy or had an easy family background either. And in fact, and I'm going to try to get my screen share to work right for me here. But there we go. This week on the podcast, if you're watching this in real time, one of my podcast guest for this week is one of our community members named Caitlin Duchesne. And she's in sales. So she's not an entrepreneur, but she's in sales. She's working for a financial services firm. And she wanted to go for this big promotion at work, but she'd been struggling with a lot of self-doubt around it, and like not seeing herself as worthy of that next level. But when she applied the principles that we're talking about tonight in our training, and decided to step into her power and apply for the role, in literally 3 weeks, she doubled her income. 3 weeks, my friend. So this doesn't have to take long. Again, you're not too old. You're not too young. You're not anything. Okay. If she can do it, if I can do it, you can too. So here's what I want to know is, why are you here tonight? So I want you to type in the chat for me and share, what's your why? Why are you here tonight? And I've heard from some of you ahead of time via text, via email, like, hey, I'm struggling in this area. I've heard from some women that they feel like they're putting in all the work and all the effort, but they're not seeing the results yet. And they're wondering if they're doing something wrong. I've heard from women that they, maybe are going through a lot, like personally, and they feel like that's consuming their focus. And they're not, like, they're beating themselves up for not, quote unquote, putting it all in at work. So what is it for you? Like, what's the one thing you're looking to get out of tonight? Because I really do want to make this for you tonight, for those of you who are here. Victoria is saying, I'm committed to going full-time in my coaching business, but I'm finding that I'm still playing small. Beautiful. Thank you. And I would love, Victoria, if you can stay till the end, I would love to do some live coaching with you on that, because we're going to do that at the end. Because when we say we're committed to something, but it's not happening yet, it's like there's some part of us that's not committed yet. There's some benefit or payoff that you're getting from not going for it. And so we want to dig into that and see what that is so that you can unleash that and then like truly be committed and step into that. Tanya, larger return on shorter time. I'm all for that. Like I talked about bending time and space as a mom, which I think you are too. Kim, I need to double the company's income in the next year and don't want to double my work. Okay. I love it. I love it. And I would also, Kim, I would check in with that language. I want to, right? So this is part of, for us as women, when we say like, I need to, that creates a lot of pressure on us. And we don't perform well under pressure. Like no one really does. Like we can't do that under a sustained time. So the way that you're going to create powerfully, Kim, is from your desire. I desire to double the company's income in the next year. Melissa, I've always felt unable or like an invisible wall between myself and the potential I've always felt within myself. I felt that for so long. It's so interesting you say that. That was literally what I felt for so long. So I'd love to dig into that with you in the coaching at the end. Larger return on shorter time. Sierra, to learn. Michelle, reinforce my 7-figure entrepreneur mindset. Yes. Linda, something you would talk about getting hold of inner conversation. I'm struggling with defeating old patterns or habits. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. All right. Ladies, thank you for sharing this. And so I'm going to aim to get into all of that in the content and the teaching for tonight. And then, like I said, we're going to have time for live coaching at the end. We're going to be really digging into what does it take for you to unleash your sales superpowers. And I'm also going to, before we go into live coaching, I'm going to share with you more. I know some of you have been asking about our upcoming Sedona retreat. So I'm going to be sharing with you about that and how you can get more of this there. And then we'll go into live coaching at the end. And this is really just about you getting rid of whatever that block is that you've been allowing to hold yourself back so that you can grow your sales and your wealth in 2022 and then create a life for yourself that you didn't think possible. So, all right, my friend. So let's get into it. And let's talk about this tonight. And here's one thing I want you to really listen. If you've zoned out and come back to me here, because this is important. This is so important for you. You're stepping into your power is always a double blessing. And as we talk about this tonight, it's very possible that you're going to feel triggered, that you may feel challenged, and your brain is going to try to tell you all the reasons why you can't do it, or you don't have, can't have that level of impact that you want. And so this is something that I personally work on with myself every day too, because we have to remember it's not just about us. It's not. You stepping into your power is not just about you. And in fact, for me, about a year, I think back to even just a year ago now, not even quite a year ago, where I was at a place where I'd created a good life for myself, a good life. I'd made a lot of powerful changes from where I'd been in previous years. I'd healed the eating disorder. I'd gotten remarried to my soulmate. Our son was 5 months old at the time, and life was good. Life was really good. But I still had this nagging feeling like I was playing small and I wasn't fulfilling some of my deepest desires. And one of the big ones was to contribute in much bigger ways to causes that I cared about, and to have the financial freedom to really do what I wanted when I wanted, and to use that money for good in my life, and in the lives of the people and the causes I cared about. And I committed at that time. And again, no one's going to come tell you it's time. You've got to make the decision for yourself. But I just committed at that time. I kind of realized well, I'm not getting any younger. There's people doing the things I say I want to do who are a lot younger or who have a lot more challenging circumstances than me. I said, I'm just going to give myself permission finally and do what it takes to step into my power. And I committed to God at that point that I was just going to follow the downloads, follow the nudges I got. And the nudge that I got a few days later was to hire a woman as a business coach, who specifically worked with moms on scaling multi-million-dollar businesses. And the only caveat, everything about working with her sounded great to me. The caveat was that to work with her cost half of what I'd made the whole previous year. And I wish, as I look back on this now, it's like, I wish I could say I just dove right in. I was like, oh, money is abundant. I'll just find resources for what I need and we're just going to make it happen. That did not happen. I'm just going to be real with you. That didn't happen. My ego fought with me for days. It fought with me for several days about why I couldn't do it, why I was making a mistake, why it was a bad decision, yada, yada, yada. But I stayed focused on my vision and my desire to contribute and remembered that it was me stepping into my power was about something bigger than me. And this is something to take notes on too for you, because this is going to help you really make always the most powerful decisions in your life. I filtered the decision through at the end of my life. What would I be more proud that I had done? What step would I be more proud that I had taken? And the clear choice that I got was I would be glad that I went for it. And I would always wonder what would have happened if I hadn't gone for it. And I felt very strongly called to make the move. And so I trusted that. And I did it. I invested in working with her. And if you want a little throwback, you are welcome sometime later after this training to go peruse my Instagram. This is a screenshot of a video. I was going to play you the video and then I was like, it's 9 minutes. We don't have time for that. But this is a video I recorded just after putting a deposit down on working with her. And if you watch the video later, you'll see like I was terrified. I was crying. I was worried I'd made the wrong choice, but I also felt electrified because deep down, I knew that I had trusted myself and I had trusted, it was almost like I had said, I am worth investing in at this level. And I also knew that when we are being called to greatness, we must always do something that stretches the hell out of us. Like, I'm just going to say what it is. It will stretch the heck out of you when you're being called to greatness. You will have to take an action that massively stretches you. And so, fast forward a few months into that choice, and after going through a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of fear around, am I worthy? Am I good enough? All of that, I had 10x my income, and doing that had allowed me to retire my husband. I know some of you in this community, like that's a vision for you, upgrade my family's lifestyle and give to causes that we care about. And as I share this tonight, I want you to really think about like, what are those things that you say you care about that you say someday I'll be a philanthropist, like someday I'll show up at that level. And these are some of the things for me that light my heart on fire and things that we've been able to do as a team and as a company as a result of me getting out of my own way and saying yes to the calling. And we've been able to support children with, what would otherwise be life-threatening illnesses. This is a little boy named Kushal in India, and he has a very, very rare genetic disorder. It's extremely rare, but the treatment for it is hundreds of thousands of dollars, or it's even like upwards of $1 million, I think, as I say that. His family doesn't have that type of money, but it's actually one of the members of our She Sells community who brought this to my attention because she's done a lot of work. Her son has the same disorder. And she brought this to my attention and we were able to contribute to his treatment. And I actually got a text from her yesterday that he was coming home from the hospital and that the prognosis was good for him. We have been able to contribute to organizations like, I'm a big dog lover. I don't know if you are too, but I'm a huge animal person. So this incredible organization out of Atlanta that pulls these pit bulls out of dog fighting rings and gives them a second chance. And this is a group that we supported just this past week. These beautiful kids on the left of this photo, they're immigrants who are in Tennessee and they don't have any money. They're refugees and immigrants. And we've been able to provide rent for them and food and shelter and beds for these kids. And I share that just to say, like, you have to know in your own life, when you feel called, I didn't know any of that was going to happen when I felt that call and decided to step up. When you feel called to move forward on something that feels stretchy or doesn't make logical sense to you, it's always your intuition speaking. And it's always a double blessing to you and to your own version of who those people are. Now, you won't see it at the time. You won't know what it could have been until you've taken the action. So that's why we have to learn to give ourselves permission that no one else is coming to tell you it's time, you're good enough, you've got enough money. No, like, you've got to tell yourself that. You've got to make that decision for you, and you're the only person who can do that for you. And so whatever your own version of showing up in that way for yourself, for your family, and for the causes you care about is, like, think about that right now. And where have you been saying, someday, somehow, when I have more money? That's usually the excuse, right? But what I want to show you tonight is how you can get out of your own way with that, how you can make way more money so you can finally start contributing and giving at the level that you feel called to, and living the life that you want to as well. And so again, use that decision-making technique. Looking back on it, remember that you're going to die someday. What would I wish I had done on my deathbed? What's the choice I wish I had made on my deathbed? And when you act from that place, you can never go wrong. It will always feel stretchy. It will always feel scary. It will always feel, oh my gosh, like, can I really do this? That's how you know you're on the right track. Okay. That's how you know you're on the right track. So with that, let's dive in. I want to dive into some of the training for tonight and help you figure out, how do you close that gap so you can start showing up and contributing and earning in the way that you desire to. So I'm going to go back to my presentation for you here. Okay. So here's the problem with this. And this is what I found. Again, I've been in sales for like 20 years. I always feel old when I say that. I've been in sales training for over 7, and I've partnered with huge organizations. I've been a partner in an 8-figure international sales coaching organization. I've coached like the top producers in the world from a sales standpoint. And what I've seen is that there is a massive problem that exists with most sales training. And this is why, if you're not making that amount of money you want to make yet, this is why, okay? It's not that you're not usually using the right script, although that helps, but it's that most sales training only addresses 5% of what creates your results. 5%. So 5% of your results are based on having the right process, using the right script, having your calendar the right way. And that is all important. And we teach that in the She Sells community. And that is a key piece of what's important too. But the problem is that 95%, I want you to really think about this, 95% of your results stem from your subconscious beliefs, which determine who you're being. So that 5%, which is in your conscious mind, that's like what you're doing, right? That's what you're doing. But that 95% is who you're being. By the age of 35, so science shows by the age of 35, 95% of who you are is this set of programs that run beneath the surface of your mind 24/7 without you realizing that they are. And so this is a very common thing that I see in this community. And this is something that I'm really passionate about helping you heal in your life too. We take a quick water break. Is that usually it's not that you're not, quote unquote, doing the right things, although there's often room for improvement there. But let's say you say, I want more money. Okay. I want more money, right? I want to close the gap. I want to go from here's where I am to here's where I want to be. But if you have a subconscious belief running that money is hard to make, or that rich people are greedy, your mind is literally built. There's literally a filter in your brain that will block out opportunities for you that would be the very thing that would make you rich, that would get you that next level sale, that would take you to that next level. And so this is why in my own life, I felt so stuck for so long. Like I was working hard. Like, let me know in the comments, do you feel like you're working hard right now? Because I did. I felt like I was working hard. I had all the right processes in place, but I had these deep subconscious beliefs that I wasn't, even aware of, that I was unworthy of more, that I wasn't worthy of. For me, my goal was 7 figures, and I had a story that I wasn't worthy of that. And I also had another one, that it wasn't safe to be visible, which a lot of women can have, right? We often see women who step up and speak out and are seen, they get, they get canceled, they get whatever, they get haters. And this stuff goes back, like when you study epigenetics and how these things are passed on from generation to generation, it goes back. Like you can have these things, and most people do. And it's not even actually about something that's happened in your life experience. It can be something that happened to your mom, to your grandmother, culturally as women. So this stuff goes deep. Okay. But what we want to do is not be ruled by it. We want to own it instead of it owning us. And we do that by becoming aware of what's going on. But so for me, because I had those patterns running, like I never made more, I had so many ways I could have made more money, but I never fully like acted on them. I would make excuses. I would say it's for someone else, yada, yada. My brain would always come up with a reason why I couldn't take advantage of opportunities that would get me there. And so the minute I unearthed those beliefs and learned the process that I teach to my clients now to rewire them, and what we're going to be doing in Sedona too, everything shifted really fast. Like, oh my gosh, fast. And this is why, like, making the quantum leap for you is not about working harder. It's not. It's never. The quantum leap, I have yet to see a quantum leap that came from somebody working harder. Did they work more strategically? Yes. Did they do things that stretched them? Yes. But it's not working harder. It's not grinding more. It's not putting in more hours, although that's what you're taught you have to do. It's about unblocking that 95%, like getting into what is that? And then that's what's making things feel hard for you. So if you're going for your goal right now and it feels hard for you, that is a super clear indication that you've got a belief system running that's not in alignment with where you're going. So just, again, no judgment on that, but no, like, oh, that's why it feels hard, because I'm doing all the things, but there's a belief happening in the background that I can't have it. I'm not worthy. Money is evil, etc. That's all that's going on. So that's actually good news. That's actually good news, because we can heal that. Tanya's saying, overwhelmed, not winning at family or work, can't buy my way to the table. So those are some of the limiting beliefs showing up for you. Yeah. And so this is why with the She Sells journey, and I want to share this with you because I've actually been really mapping this out lately, and it's been fun to see, like, what is this journey, and to start taking our clients on it too. With the She Sells journey, the thing I care about a lot, and what I love helping our clients do, is make more money. Like that, at the end of the day, when you make more money, when you don't have to think about the price tag of something, when you can just say yes to what you want to say yes to, when you can give at the level you want to, when you can contribute at the level you want to, that's fun. And that's actually why you're here. That is your normal. That's meant to be your normal. And if that's not happening for you yet, I would invite you to expand your mindset that that's possible for you. And that's actually how you're meant to live. And so we take women on this journey from wherever they are to, upwards of $100,000 months. But the first step in all of this is getting you in alignment. And this is what's missing from all the training that I've seen before and been a part of, is like getting you into alignment with and building a solid foundation for that. So we're going to talk in a moment about what is alignment and how do you start to create that in your life. So certainly we cover all the tactical elements of helping you grow your sales. And we're going to be doing that at our retreat too. And then it's like, how do we get you, if you're not at $10,000 months yet, let's get you there. And then let's get you to $50,000 months and then $100,000 months. But we're doing it from this solid foundation of alignment. Because when you do that, that's how you create the quantum leap. That's how you bend time and space. That's how something that would otherwise take you 10 years takes you 1 or 2. So when we look at what is alignment, the way that I kind of think about it, and what I consistently say to myself and how I coach myself, is if you want it, you have to be it. So write that down if you're taking notes. So if you want it, you have to be it. And so what I would look at is, is all of who you are being, and is all of what you're doing a match for the result you want to create? And so I want to help you create some awareness around this right now. And I'm going to take you through an exercise. So there's these three categories. You've probably heard of these, but be, do, and have, right? And so when we talk about alignment, we want to look at who am I being? What am I doing? And what is it that I want to have versus what do I actually have right now? So I want you to grab a piece of paper if you haven't been taking notes yet on a sheet of paper, but do this with me. Like, this will be powerful for you. And this will also help you unearth where you're limiting yourself right now. I feel like I'm like super Italian talking with my hands tonight. I'm getting into this. This is going to help you unearth where you're limiting yourself, so that you can see, oh, that's actually the thing that's holding me back. I thought it was just that I had to work harder. So I want you to take out a sheet of paper right now, or write this in your journal. What is your income goal for 2022? And if you don't know, that's the first invitation, is to get clear on what your income goal is. So vague longings bring vague results. We got to get really clear and specific of what we want. What is your goal? And then on that sheet of paper, I want you to do 3 columns. So be, do, and have. So at the top of the paper, column 1 is be, column 2 is do, and column 3 is have. And I'm going to give you a moment to do some journaling on this, but here's what I want you to journal on in just a moment, and just listen to the prompt first. For the woman who is at that income target, I want you to look at how she's showing up in each of those 3 areas. So who are you being? For the version of you who's making that amount of money, who are you being? And that's really about the thoughts that you're thinking and the emotions that you're feeling. Okay. Then I want you to look at what for that version of you who's at that income goal, what is she doing? What are her actions? So who does she surround herself with? And you're going to write this in the do column. Okay. So the first one is be column. The second is the do column. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Do you travel? How do you travel? Do you travel first class? Do you travel, a different way? How and where are you traveling? What type of coaching and mentorship does this woman invest in? And a good rule of thumb that I live by is you want to always invest 5 to 10% of what you want to make next year in your coaching and personal development. That's how I do it. That's always helped me get to where I want to go. But what actions is she taking every day towards her goals? And again, it's not about busy action. It's not about efforting. It's about aligned action. And when you learn to act from this place, here's where I get excited. Like, when you learn to take that aligned action, what would otherwise have taken you 10 hours can take 10 minutes. What could have taken, 200 DMs takes 2. And then the third category I want you to look at is, what does this version of you have? So what's her wardrobe like? How does she eat? What type of meals does she eat? Does she have a private chef? Does she have someone cooking for her? What's her support team like? What type of relationship does she have? What type of personal relationship? Where does she live? What type of home does she own? What type of car does she drive? So I'm going to give you just a few minutes to journal on that, and I'm going to play some music for you, but really tap into that. Be, do, have, that version of you at that next level income goal. What does that look like? So let me get some music playing. Go ahead and start journaling on that, because we're going to take just a few moments. I'm going to take just a few moments for this. So one moment here. Let me move this over. Oops.
I took a trip deep within myself and discovered the cosmic potion. Activated the sorcery of inner wealth, and now I'm creation in motion. I Our bodies mirror the galaxy, a compilation of stardust defying gravity, projecting into what you call reality, a reflection of your own inner alchemy. So with the knowing that you are all, you take a stand rather than fall. Destiny requires you answer the call, unveil the illusion, become all. So I decided that it was me, and in response my soul was eternally free. Without trying, I simply just be. Source devotion and sovereignty is key. So here I stand with my energy in hand, feet walking land, embodying his plan, acting with purpose and conscious intention, creating in my life that which I give attention. So release the apprehension, because it's time for your ascension. Just prepare for your next lesson. Every moment is simply a blessing. So release the apprehension, because it's time for your ascension. Just prepare for your next lesson.
All right. So we are, for the sake of time, we're going to pause that there. But I want you can go back and complete that exercise later, because it's a powerful one too, because it's really, again, like I said before, it's like a lot of awareness, no judgment on yourself, but a lot of awareness. And so what I want you to do now is go back and look at that list and notice, where are you, like, check off, where are you already showing up that way? So where are you already thinking those thoughts, feeling those feelings, doing those things? And then where are you not yet? And this is the gap. Like, this is the gap. And so in my own life and in the lives of my clients, I'm about speed with results. Like I am not a fan of playing small or things taking too long. And in fact, the universe likes speed. So if things are taking a long time for you in your life, I would just invite you to really step into, it doesn't have to be that way, and open up to it. Doesn't have to be that way. And when you take the time to do step one of the She Sells journey, which is really getting into alignment with being that woman. And when you start thinking, feeling, and acting as the woman who has the results that you want, that's how we bend time and space. That's how we take something that would take, a goal that would take 5 years, and it takes 6 months. And so I want to give you just a little tip here you can do. And this is something I learned from Glenn Sisk, Dr. Glenn Sisk. But your brain will try to look at, it'll look at all the things you want to do, and it'll say, you can't do that. Like if I'm curious if anyone wants to share on their list some of the things they wanted to have. Like, I want to just hold that space with you and hear about it and support you in that. But your brain will try to tell you, I can't do it, I can't have it, yada, yada. Give yourself a challenge. And this is a fun one. Spend the next 48 hours deciding that whatever it is that you want, you say to yourself, I can do that. I can have that. I can. So it's not, your brain will try to tell you, I can't, I'm not enough, yada, yada. And give yourself a challenge. I can have that. I can be that. I can do that. You don't have to know how yet, but in the very action of you saying I can instead of I can't, you're going to start to notice that new ideas show up. You're going to start to notice that your energy shifts. You're going to start to notice oh, maybe I can, right? Because you're going to get whatever you consistently tell yourself. And this is part of how you start to reprogram your subconscious too, is by telling yourself what you want to be true for you. Like, that's really, at the end of the day, a belief is a thought you think again and again. So we've got to get really fierce with this and with our beliefs and our thoughts. Okay. And so here's part of what's cool too about when you just start to really practice this. Like I said before, it's a true double blessing in your life and in the lives of the people around you too. But amazing things happen. And I wanted to share with you, Rita, who is another member of our She Sells community, and she's a member of the 10K club. When she, again, you look at her and you're like, oh, she's beautiful. She's got it all put together. Well, she spent most of her life taking care of a son who's had a severe disability and a life-threatening illness. And when she joined our community and just said yes to herself, it was really about her reclaiming her power and pouring into her own life too, because she had spent so long pouring into everyone else around her. And so, and she, I'm not going to share how much she made because I have not asked her permission for that, but let's just say she quantum leaped her income in 90 days, like made a huge leap in her income. Um, she helped, that picture of Kushal I showed you earlier, she's been spearheading a lot of the fundraising for him, and she made more money and was able to contribute to him just like we did in the She Sells community. And so it's really about, again, when you decide to get into alignment and you realize that you're the only one holding yourself back from stepping into your true power, everything shifts, and it's truly just a decision. And so, unleashing your sales superpower is about stepping into the most powerful and aligned version of you first, and then layering on top of that the tactical how-to of achieving your sales goals. And that's how you create the magic. Like that's how you bend time and space. And that's what I think is so special about this community and about what I feel privileged to teach is it's both. Can we help you with the tactical how-tos? Absolutely. And that part to me is the easy part. But beyond that, how do you build from that strong foundation? And how do you rewire your brain to actually like easily and more effortlessly create the results that you want? Because it is possible. And so, if you've been stuck for any amount of time and you've been feeling frustrated and you've been down on yourself, you haven't been coming at your goals from that aligned, most powerful place. And so, and again, no judgment, but it's like, oh, that's actually what's going on. And I hope that's empowering to you too. And the thing about it too is stepping into your power is fun, because when you start to do this and when you start to show up this way in your life, you will fall so in love with the woman who you become in the process. And this will happen before more money comes in, but it won't take long for the money to come in either. You will feel so in love with this woman who you see staring back at yourself in the mirror. You will be so proud of her. If your old self-talk was beating yourself up, telling yourself you're not good enough, you don't look good, whatever the stories are that we tell ourselves, you're going to start feeling so good and so empowered and so on top of the world. And then the extra money, like the massively increased money that comes in, it's like a cherry on top. And it's fun. And so when we create this way, this is how we bridge the gap. This is how we bend time and space. Okay. And this is how you quickly make that quantum leap. And so what I want to know from each of you who are here live before we go into the next segment is, what's your biggest takeaway so far? And again, this is more for you than it is for me. Like, I want to know because I want to make sure that you're getting what I'm hoping I'm communicating tonight. But when we write things down and when we repeat them, that's how we start to rewire those beliefs. So if you learn something and you don't repeat it and go out and share it with somebody else, science shows that it's like you don't remember it. Those neural pathways just kind of break apart and you don't form a new belief system, or you don't remember what you learned. So you've got to start repeating it and resharing it within the first 24 to 48 hours of learning something in order to really solidify that learning and to start carving that new neural pathway in your brain, which is what we're doing when we talk about creating new belief systems. So Kim is saying, be, do, have, show me one of my limiting beliefs that I'll work on. Beautiful. Beautiful. And if you're on the 10K Club group call tomorrow, I'd love to work with you on that. Melissa, it starts with baby steps and reinforcing those baby steps to rewire. Totally. Yes. And so for those of you, others of you who are still alive, like pop in the chat what your takeaways are, but this is great. Michelle, I love the be, do, have exercise. It made something super clear about my mindset I need to work on. Ooh, good. I've never taught that one before. It was kind of, I literally like channeled this, on the plane this weekend while I was flying back from an intensive with my coach. And I was like, what would be the most powerful exercise? And this just kind of This is a lot of how I create, and I co-create with, the way I think about it is I co-create with God in what I do. So I'm so glad that that spoke to many of you. Sierra, my beliefs are still too logical that what has happened will happen again. Ooh, okay, good. So let's talk. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And I think it's going to, Sierra, I think what we're going to talk about in a minute is going to really resonate. And I want to also just remind each of you, like, I've got time for you for live coaching at the end of this. So stay until the end, because I want to open it up for you to get live coaching on whatever is showing up for you. Yeah, you're so welcome, Sierra. Good. So you've got two paths you can go down at this point. And I also just so appreciate you sharing with me, each of you, like what resonated and what your takeaway was. And so if this spoke to you and resonated, you certainly and absolutely and always have the option of just saying, well, I'm just going to kind of keep doing what I've been doing and go out and try to fix this on my own. And the challenge with that, and this is why, like, I've put in enough hours to feel like I'm a pretty good coach. And that's not me like just trying to puff myself up, but I've done the work to feel like I can say that solidly. But I still I personally invest literally hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to work with very high level mentors, because we don't see our own blind spots. We don't. Like, I don't see my own blind spots. You don't see your own blind spots. You will only ever see to the level of your own consciousness. And so when we don't have someone who can help us see what they are, we don't know what the limiting beliefs are, right? We don't know what the patterns are. And oftentimes too, we don't know the tactical how to. And so that's part of the value of coaching. But that's holding you back from creating. Usually it's one little thing you could do that would create a quantum leap. Like with Rita, the client who I just shared with you, she did one thing. She launched one new thing that created a massive impact in her life and the lives of women around the world. So you've got to have someone who can listen to you and shed light back on those dark places that you just don't see. And that person, by the way, it's not helpful to have it be your spouse or your partner. that is not going to help that relationship. And so even now you may be aware of some things, but it's like, well, how do I rewire them? Right. And then what are the steps to take from there? And so if you continue to be either unaware or aware, but you don't know how to actually shift it and what steps to take to heal it, you keep acting in the same way you've been acting, you can't expect going into next year that it's going to be any different. Like what does Einstein say? Like the theory of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results, right? And so if you have to decide, like, am I good with where I'm at? Would I love to repeat this year, next year? And if you would, then you're probably good. Like, and I say that truly. If you would love to repeat this year, next year, and have the exact same level of results you've had in all areas, then you probably are good. You probably don't need, support. But if any way, shape, or form you are done saying no to what you've wanted to say yes to, and you're ready to claim what you desire as yours, and close that gap between where you are and where you want to be, you've got to take an action that's going to feel pretty uncomfortable to you, and is probably unlike what you would normally do. And this is why, Melissa, to your point of baby steps, which there's a lot of truth in that. It's like, do something now. But what I've seen in my own life that creates the real leap is a big step, like something that feels massively uncomfortable, something that feels massively stretchy, something that the old version of you wouldn't do. That's what actually creates the quantum leap, because our ego can trick us into saying, oh, just do a little, like, just, keep doing, just do a little more of what you've been doing, right? Because that still feels pretty comfortable. And my experience has been, the real leap doesn't come then. Like, that's where you continue to have like little incremental progress, if at all. You're going to have to, if you're really done, like if you're truly done playing small, it's going to require something that stretches you. And it's going to require, getting in the room with people who are at the level that you want to be. It's going to require having mentorship and coaching. And I say this, whether it's me or whether it's somebody else, like I truly think you should find the best fit for you always. But you got to have somebody who can look at your situation and who can, look at your situation, your mindset, and your behaviors and help you adjust it. So you've got a plan to create your goals, with ease and speed. And so I want to take just a moment before we go into live coaching and share about this really, really, Michelle's saying, diving into the deep end. I love that. I know you are too. I know you are. That's beautiful. So I want to share about a beautiful opportunity that we have created to do that. Can you see my screen? Okay. The Sedona slide. I'm hoping, let me try one more time. I'm like paranoid now about these slides. Hopefully that's showing okay. Okay. But let me know if you just let me know in the chat. Okay, good. It looks like hopefully you can see it okay. I want to share with you about this event that we're having. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited because this whole upcoming live retreat in Sedona is all about how to reclaim your power and how to shift those limiting beliefs, how to, okay, good. How to claim your desires and how to map out your next level business and sales plan for next year. So December 8th through 10th, we are meeting at the beautiful Enchantment Resort where I'm going to be pouring into you for 2 full days. And I just want to share like how gorgeous, how gorgeous is this? These are some of the photos from the resort. And I just want you to start like seeing yourself here. I know some of you are already registered, which is awesome. But if you're not, like, can you see yourself here and actually see yourself in this space, in this community, even in like the vortex of Sedona? There's so much magic that happens in that space. And so at the event, I'm going to be taking you through the She Sells process. That's going to help you heal and rewire those limiting beliefs that are in the areas of money, visibility, and self-worth. Then we're going to be mapping out your next level sales and business plan for 2022. And I will say one thing too, I'm not about you just like hitting your goals and doing, 5 or 10% more than what you did this year. I'm going to push you and I'm going to challenge you to stretch your thinking about what's possible. And you don't have to know how. That's my job. That's why you're going to be there, is to get my help and my support. But making a quantum leap that changes the trajectory of your life. And what I love about this too is it's going to be a true VIP experience for you. Aside from getting my personal coaching, I'm bringing in a super special guest speaker. She's a shaman, she's a spiritual healer, and she's worked with literally some of the top entrepreneurs in the world in Silicon Valley to help them create, deep and permanent transformation. She's my personal shaman too, and she's phenomenal. So I'm bringing her in for you. You're going to be in the presence of these incredible high vibrational women who you're going to learn and learn from and build networking relationships with and business partnerships with, who are going to help you achieve your goals. And so I want to invite you now. I just want to take you through a visualization. And I know it's getting late, at least in my time zone. So I'm going to have you close your eyes. No one sleep. Stay awake with me here for this. But I want to invite you to just close your eyes and envision it's the end of the day on Friday, which is our second day of the retreat. And you've just wrapped up the day. And the sun is setting over Sedona. And you're overlooking the beautiful Sedona sunset from your casita. And you've got a glass of your favorite beverage in your hand. Maybe it's a glass of wine, maybe it's a cup of coffee, maybe it's a virgin mojito, but you're celebrating. And as you breathe in deeply and you see that sunset in front of you, you're feeling so on top of the world because you finally released the limiting belief, the beliefs and the thoughts that have kept you stuck in playing small for too long. And you finally know what's true for you. You know what's possible for you. And you're so excited because you're super clear on your sales and your business plan for 2022, and you know exactly how you're going to achieve it too. And it's stretchy and it's ambitious and it's big, but it's actually less work than you put in this year. And you're breathing in the crisp mountain air and watching the sun go down and reflecting on the incredible lifelong friendships and partnerships that you made this week. And you've got new collaborations lined up to grow your reach and your impact exponentially in the new year. You've connected with new soul sisters. You've actually had clients reaching out to work with you while you're here at the retreat. And you realize now the power of you stepping into your full feminine power, which is magnetizing. This is actually what's natural for you, is to be a magnet for what you want. That's the feminine power. And you're done. You're done with pushing and forcing and hustling your way to success. You're ready to receive all the good that life has for you. Financially, emotionally, opportunities for impact, experiences, all of it. And as you breathe in the fullness of who you are, you feel massive gratitude for the fact that you valued yourself and your future enough to say yes and to get yourself in the room. And you know that your life, the life of your family, is forever changed for the better as a result. So I want you to just breathe that in and just take a moment to integrate. Because that version of you, who you really saw and felt there, that ease that you felt of literally being in an event and receiving clients while you're there, this is how it works when we're in our full power. And I used to not believe it was possible, but it is. It is. I will never go back to the old way of living. And if you are not yet in that place where you literally feel so good and things are coming to you so fast, what you want is coming to you so fast, opportunities, clients, impact, and it feels easy, then I would love to help support you in doing that and in creating that. And that's what we're going to be doing together in Sedona. And so I'll share with you the ticket options here, and we'll do a little bit of Q&A about it as well. Okay, so there's 2 ticket options here. So we've got our standard ticket, gives you access to the event. It gives you, so again, it's 2 days of me pouring into you, coaching you, mindset, removing limiting beliefs, deepening your feminine energy, healing wounds around money, like all of it. So you're going to walk out of there so solid and so just high vibrational. And then it's also your strategy, your business, your tactical sales, marketing, revenue strategy for 2022. And again, this applies whether you're in sales, working for someone else, whether you were running your own business, whether you want to create your own business. So our standard ticket gives you access to the event. It includes a welcome soiree on Wednesday night, Thursday and Friday, live coaching and mentoring with me. And it also includes your breakfast and lunch on Thursday and Friday. Now, we also have a VIP option. We've got just 2 tickets left for that. It includes everything you get in your standard ticket, but you also receive a half-day planning session with me and the other women in the VIP group on December 3rd. And so we're going to be doing a very deep dive into your game plan, like your vision and your goals for 2022, so that you can come into the event already knowing what they are, so we can just refine while we're there. You get a very special, intimate VIP dinner on Thursday night, and you also get preferred seating at the event. And so for any women who are here now who take action within the next 24 hours, I'm going to gift you also a free month of our She Sells All Access membership. And so that membership is $99 a month. And it's like everything that you could need with sales, mindset, wealth consciousness, feminine energy. We've actually got a training coming up this Friday, if you're watching it in real time, that's all about just filling, like, how do you fill your pipeline the feminine way? Pleasurable prospecting. So how do you, if you're someone who's like, I would love a wait list of clients who want to work with me, sign up. You'll get access to that this Friday. And I'll do some live coaching with you there too on how to do that, and how to create a wait list for your services as well. So with all of this, and again, this is the link to grab your ticket. Again, the VIP, it's all first come, first serve, but we're so limited on the VIP. I want to encourage you, like, if this is speaking to you, go get your ticket tonight. So from here, you can spend a lot of time just trying to figure out how to make 2022 different, right, than this year was. And just continuing to repeat more of the same. Or you can invest in yourself and get yourself in the room. And in the very act of doing that, it's a declaration to yourself and to the universe that you're worth it. And giving yourself the gift of feeling empowered, clear, knowing exactly what you need to do to create a sales quantum leap, a financial quantum leap for next year. And what I've learned to do with opportunities is to not evaluate, we'll say, like, is it worth it? I would invite you, and this is how you're going to start to think higher level for yourself. It's, am I worth it? Right? Am I worth it? Because that's really what you're asking. And so even taking the question out of it and just saying, no, I'm worth it. Like, if this is speaking to me, I'm worth it. It's a great opportunity if it's speaking to you. The minimum for group coaching with me right now is $7,500. My private coaching is going to go up to 6 figures next year. So you're getting access to very high level, very intimate coaching for a steal. And I would imagine for many of you on this call too, you can think about, like, if I sell probably one client, I more than recoup the investment. And for women who actually take what we talk about and implement it, you should at least double next year what you did this year. So go get your ticket, my friend, ElyseArcher.com/Sedona. You can get registered. Just scroll to the bottom of the page to purchase your ticket. Again, it's December 8th through 10th at Enchantment Resort. You can bring a girlfriend too, and you guys can share a room. You'll see when you're, if you want, you'll see when you're on that page, our room block, when you're at the bottom of the page, the room block is sold out right now, but we still have perks through booking and getting a room through our event planner. So if you want to stay at the hotel, which I highly recommend, get your ticket through that web page and then email my assistant, assist@ElyseArcher.com, and she can help you with booking your room for while you're there, because you're going to get bonuses and perks and you get a little bit of a better rate too, as well. So with all of that said, and we're about to go into live coaching, I just want to encourage you, like, if this is speaking for you, you just have to trust, speaking to you, you just have to trust your gut and go for it. This is part of stepping into your power and harnessing your true superpower, your sales superpower, which as a woman is actually your intuition and your instincts. And those will always get there first. So here's another tidbit for you that has been very helpful for me in my life. Intuition gets there first. Whatever your gut instant reaction to something is, like your instant instinct, that's your intuition. And it will always lead you in the direction of where you want to go. Then your logical brain will come in and it'll start telling you all the reasons why you can't have something. It's too much, too this, yada, yada. And it'll talk you right out of the very thing that was going to get you to where you want to go. So I always trust in my life, I'm presented with the right opportunities at the right time for me. And if my gut says this would be something that would get me to where I want to go, I act on it. Like always, always, always. And so if your intuition is telling you to act on it, then do grab a ticket. I'd love to have you in the room with us in Sedona. And just remember always, like always remember this, that what you want, my friend, wants you back. Your desires, your vision, it wants you more than you even want it. And all we got to do is take a step in the direction and saying yes to it. And if Sedona feels like that step for you, I would love to have you there to help support you in making 2022 your very best year yet in all aspects of your life. So with that, I want to open up for live coaching. For those of you who are here, if anyone has a question, type your name in the chat. And it can be a question on what we talked about tonight. It can be a question on the event. It can be a question on something else, but this is a really good opportunity. Like I said, I wanted to coach those of you who are here live. Melissa, so excited to have you here. Let's have you unmute and share your question. See if we can get you unmuted. There we go. Oh, did I just mute you?
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Alessandra just started singing like really loud, so I ran into a different room.
I love it. I love it.
So something that it really came up for me during some of those meditations and stuff is kind of, I mean, we talk about this a lot, but at the end of the day, when I think of myself as being unstoppable,
Oh, Melissa, you're muted again.
wow. Okay. Usually I'm better at this.
No, that's okay.
So,
I heard you up until when you think of yourself as being unstoppable.
Yeah, it always like still, it runs back to grit and grind. Like hold on to your ankles until things finally come into place, whenever that will be. I know that I'm unstoppable in ways because of things I have overcome or made it through already.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life, I'm just like ready for there to be a different way that I can excel within.
Yeah.
And even like, I mean, I listen to a lot of what you say. I run through, I just admire you and your outlook a lot. And I want to know, or maybe I get stuck with what that internal conversation is that I need to have with myself, or different actionable items I can do or say, or
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So the belief that's showing up for you is, if I want to be unstoppable, I've got to grind more. Is that right?
Yeah, it goes back to like what you started out with the just, it's only about working harder. That's the only way. And it's just like, no matter how many different ways I try to think about it, that's what it always comes back to for me.
Sure. Yeah. And so with limiting beliefs, and it's so good to have that awareness too. Like I really commend you for just having that awareness. We have to learn to like examine them and actually ask, is it true? And so, and I'd love, if you can stay unmuted, I want to talk through this with you here. But I would look at like, is that actually true in my life? If like I've tried the way that I'm doing it right now, which sounds like it is that grinding, that hustling, that pushing, is that creating an unstoppable result in my life? And my guess from the question that you asked is that it's not, that you feel like you're stuck, right? So, and if you, again, if you can unmute, if, there we go. So so talk to me about that. Does that resonate?
It makes me want to withdraw, just like, it just makes almost not necessarily give up, but just like withdraw, which I guess is giving up. And that's what leads to the drive and the passion that I have within me, are just so competitive with what I feel like my brain allows me or tells me that I can do. And it almost feels like no matter how hard I try, and a lot of that is circumstantial, right? Like with whatever's going on in my life right now, when this is over, when we're on the other side of that, like, I know that it can be done within this because you see it all the time. But how do I get to that point?
Yeah. So there's a few things that I would look at and that I would really dig into for you. So one is there's a concept called secondary gains. And so what I mean by that is when you're like, I want to go to the next level. Like I hear that in you. I know that about you, but it seems like there's things that keep coming up that are stopping you from that. Right.
Yes.
And so what we have to look at is, what is the gain that I'm getting? What is the benefit? Because there always is one. What is the benefit I'm getting from not being able to go to the next level? And it may not show up immediately when you ask that question, but I can promise you it's there. And so for me in my own life, and this is, a lot of the women in the community, I think could maybe relate to this one, but it's like, if I'm really wealthy, Like if I'm really successful at the level that I desire to be, that's going to require me to be more visible. Like that's going to require me to like really be great with money. That's going to require me to stand 100% on my own in this. And like whatever the story is that we tell ourselves, those were some of the things I used to tell myself. So I'm just sharing those as examples here. So there is actually a benefit to not having more because it didn't give me the opportunity to potentially fail at something. So I don't know if
Yes.
does that resonate at all?
That does. It absolutely does. And the other thing is like not benefit that you're getting from not being able to go to the next level. It's like, because I think of it in terms of grit and grind, it's like the only piece or second I have to myself for that day or week sometimes. And like, I don't know, it becomes, some things can become so overwhelming that I take a deep breath and I'm like, oh, let me just listen to my podcast and go to sleep. I just can't anymore. You know?
Yeah. 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 And I think the other piece of that, Melissa, is it's conditioning. I mean, it takes a while to, well, and that may be a limiting belief too. Like, I don't know that it has to take a while for this, but like knowing a little bit about you and knowing that, you know, you're in a sales environment, and I don't know, like, I think you've got a great environment from what I know, but like,
Definitely.
you know, there can still be a lot of like competition and hustle and like that kind of, and so the way that men create results in their life is different. It's designed to be different from how we do it as women. The male energy is about the hunt. It's about more. It's about like go out and kill and slay, like that's male energy. And that's actually how they're in their power. As women, we're not in our power that way, but that's how we've been taught we have to be successful. But as women, we have this whole other skill set, this whole other way of doing things that when we learn to start living that way, we create way better results in our life. Like you'll crush it in the office, but it's a different way than what's usually taught in a male dominated environment. So and we didn't talk about it too much on the training tonight, but as a woman, your power is magnetizing, it's receiving, it's the experience, it's having pleasure in the experience. It's very different energy. And we use our masculine energy, which is like structures and systems, and that we use that to help support our feminine energy, which is about the receiving, which is about, it's more non-linear. It's like, hey, I got this intuitive hunch that I should reach out to this client today. And what do you know? You call them and they were like, this is exactly what I needed. Versus the masculine would be just follow the script, say these things, do this amount of outreach, and you'll get to your goal. So it's two different, and we want to learn to blend both. And use the best of both for us. But I think for you, and probably for most women on this call, for me too, like I have to keep reconditioning myself this way. It's getting in the room, and it's like, again, whether it's Sedona for you, whether it's something else, but getting yourself in environments and where you can literally like see examples and show your brain, because your brain is going to need evidence and proof that it can be done differently. Show your brain that it is possible to create differently. And then step by step, and that's where the baby steps do come in, is like, well, let me just try it this way. Let me see, like, if this other way hasn't been working for however long, let me just open up to the fact that maybe there's another way, and start working with mentors and coaches who have created that level of success you want, but also who have the lifestyle you want. And that's a big thing that I always look for in my mentors, is not just how much money are they making, but like, are they grinding 24/7, or do they have a different way of doing things? And I choose my mentors based on that. Like, they make great money and they prioritize their health. They've got a great family life. They seem really happy. They've got great spiritual connection, because it's like, that's what I want to model. And that is, I promise you, like, if you just keep leaning into that, And you got to do extra if you're in any sort of environment where you're getting a lot of the hustle and grind conditioning, you got to like layer even more of this on top of it. But start leaning into that and start trying that. And you'll show to yourself there's another way. So does that help answer the question?
It does. And it also made me just realize, or kind of think about how much of the hustle, I am in an excellent work environment, but most of the like sales managers or coach or like mentors, I do have a nice woman coach there, but she's not on the same path that I am. Right. So the ones that are in the sales world are men, and I'm seeing it just so clearly right now, how hustle and grind they are. Like Adam doesn't sleep and we love him for it, but I can't live that way. So like, it's stuff like that. And I think just really focusing on overcoming extenuating circumstances. And that's also where the baby steps come in for me, just like that constant reinforcement, because the world will get you. When it rains, it pours, that whole thing.
Well, and with that too, and I would say this with so much love too, like that belief is holding you back right now. So I would instead like shift it to say, wow, like this is actually happening for me. And to really adopt that belief system in yourself, that everything is happening for you. And so if something is happening, if something comes up that feels hard, what am I meant to learn right now? What am I meant to release? How am I being invited? Because when you say, I want this, like I want this level of financial abundance, I want this level of results, you're going to be given opportunities that help you. I want you to think about alignment again. You have to be the person who has that. So, and again, it's not about working harder, but it's about who are you being at your core. And these situations that come up, that oftentimes they invite us to really like double down on our self-worth, sometimes on setting boundaries, on valuing ourselves more, right? All of that. They're invitations for you to step into, for you to practice becoming that woman who has that result you want. So that's the work, is learning to look at those things as, ooh, this is happening for me. If there was a gift in this, what would it be? And then we don't feel like we're victims of our circumstances. Then we feel empowered because we realize, wow, I actually drew this in so that I could, this thing that feels like my setback is my set up. Like this is literally happening for me right now. So I think if you start seeing it that way, you're going to feel a lot more empowerment around it too.
I listened to your podcast with that woman talking about like taking back your power, and I had a great 2 weeks after that. I'll close out with that.
I love it. I love it. That was, I think, with Marie, who's our guest speaker in Sedona.
Yes.
I'm thinking of. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I'm so excited to have her, because she's like, we're going to do a deep dive into that in Sedona. So really good. Did anybody else who's here live have a coaching question? Again, if you've got a coaching question, if you've got a question on Sedona, anything we covered tonight, put your name in the chat. I'm here for you. This is later than my normal bedtime, but I love how many of you are still here live. I'm here for you if you have questions. So, if you don't have questions, that's totally fine too. And again, I would just invite you, if you're not registered yet for Sedona and you want to get your ticket, ElyseArcher.com/Sedona. Oh, Sierra, good. Okay. Let's have you go.
Hello. It's so nice to talk to you.
It's so nice to talk to you. And hey, congratulations on, oh my gosh, congratulations on all the leaps since we last spoke.
Thank you. Do you mind if I turn video on? I'd love to chat.
I'd love for you to turn video on. Yeah.
Thanks. I don't know how my hair looks right now.
There we go. You look gorgeous.
Wait.
Yes, it's so good to see you.
Hello. I actually can't even see myself, but it is so good to see you. It's been a couple months. And I love to keep up with you on Instagram, I have to say. So I love that your life's going really well as well. So congratulations yourself.
Thank you so much. I love
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
My question. Oh, yes. So my question is, every time I think about, the future, and it's been 2 months of business for me, my first 2 months, and I've already been blown away. But when I think about projections for next year of like, if I keep on this track, it just seems so ridiculously impossible for me. Mm-hmm. But I know that is definitely holding me back, because I won't take, like exactly what you're saying, I won't take those steps to be able to hit those big goals. So I guess what would your advice be to like break through those barriers?
Yeah. So what are you on track to do next year if you keep up this trajectory?
Over 6 figures.
Okay. Awesome. You're already there, aren't you? I read like half of your text before I went on the stream today. So I haven't,
No,
I
I'm so
apologize that I
sorry.
haven't.
No, good.
Okay.
Okay. So I am booking 10K months.
Mhm.
So that's not my earnings for this month. So that was my fault. I did not clarify that correctly. But so I'm a wedding florist. So I'm booking clients for next year. So I'll be making, right now it's at 40K. So so then next year I should be making at least 150K.
Can I just take a moment because this is weren't we talking a couple months ago and you were in some like hourly something that was so like just not
$5 a sale.
I am so proud of you. Like, I just have to say,
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So much. You're so sweet.
So what part of you is questioning yourself? You've already seen what is possible for you. What are you questioning about?
Man.
And it's like already on the books too, right? I don't understand what you're questioning.
Okay, maybe that's also my limiting belief. It just seems like a fluke.
Oh, ooh, okay. So this is important. So,
Okay.
when we are available for any sort of self-doubt, you'll have success and you'll think it's a fluke. Like you'll do what you just did and you'll be like, oh, that wasn't really me. So this is where I want you to really start owning who you are and owning, no, I did that. Okay. And not being available for self-doubt around it. And one of the processes that I do every morning to help just anchor in my own self-confidence, it's a 3-step process I say in the mirror. I learned it from Lisa Nichols. And it's first, Elyse, I'm proud of you for, and I just say 7 things to myself. Second, I forgive you for, Elyse, I forgive you for. This is me looking in the mirror, talking to myself. And it's one thing. So forgive yourself for one thing. And it can be like, I doubted myself. I questioned myself. Maybe you judged someone else. You judged you, whatever, like forgive yourself. And then the third thing is I commit to myself that. So it'd be like, Sierra, I commit to you that, looking at yourself in the mirror, 7 things. And you commit to yourself, like, I'm gonna have my best year ever. Like, I'm going to be wildly successful. Like, I'm safe, like whatever it is that's showing up for you. And I've found in my own life, like doing that, if I get off of it, the self-doubt can creep back in. So that's been really critical. So I actually have those questions taped up on a mirror, and I say them to myself. I would start doing that because you just need to start owning that you did this and it wasn't a fluke. And that's it for you. Does that help?
So much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I want to give you credit because it was because of you that I quit that job. So thank you so much for walking me through that and letting me break down crying on the call. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I appreciate that so much.
Thank you. I mean, thank you so much. And I received that. And you're the one who actually did it. So again, this is where like, I so received that and thank you. And I want you to take ownership of what you did too, because you're the one who actually did it and stepped out and followed your dream. And so it's like, it's a co-creation, right? Like we're always given, in my own life, I found I'm given the right people, the right mentors at the right time for the step I need to take. And I just commit to doing whatever they say I need to do and trusting it. And you did that here. But I want you to see yourself as I did this. Like I'm on track to make 150 grand next year, at least. Get it, sister.
Thank you.
I love that. Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Does anybody else have a coaching question Anything that we can clear up, any limiting beliefs that showed up tonight? I know many of you are members of the 10K club, and I'll see you on our group call tomorrow. But I'm here for you too, ladies. Yeah, I'm here for you. So if we have any questions, you are welcome now to type your name in the chat. And if I don't see a name, I'm going to assume that we are good. So, all right, ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, ElyseArcher.com/Sedona to grab your ticket or to upgrade if you are not VIP and you want to upgrade. Actually, I should say, if you're registered and you're not yet VIP, but you want to upgrade, email my assistant, Sarah, assist@ElyseArcher.com. She can help you with that. You're so welcome. Thank you, ladies. It went longer than I planned, which things usually do. But it was so good to spend time with each of you. I'm grateful for you. Remember, what you want wants you back, and you're just incredible. So much love to each of you. Wishing you a beautiful, beautiful night, and email if you have any questions at all. All right, lots of love. See you soon. Bye-bye.